At our Thanksgiving gathering, my sister rose from her seat and declared, "We took a vote, and you're no longer part of this family." The room erupted in applause. I gave a quiet chuckle and replied, "Well, I suppose you won't be needing this then." I set a thick folder on the table. The instant she flipped it open, she let out a piercing scream. Before we began slicing the turkey, Natalie stood, her face lit with that practiced, self-satisfied grin she always wore. "We have an announcement," she said, her voice dripping with theatrics. The room fell silent. Silverware hovered in midair. My stomach twisted. I recognized that tone. It was the same one she'd used when she got me in trouble at 15 for a party I never even attended. "We held a family vote," she went on, casting her gaze around like a queen addressing her court. "And we've decided you're no longer family." A beat of silence, then cheers. Cheers. My cousin Lisa clapped like she was at a rock concert. Uncle Tom lifted his wine glass in a toast. Even my own mother chuckled and said, "Well, it had to be said." I sat there, stunned, staring at my untouched plate. The mashed potatoes had gone cold, but my anger simmered. My father wouldn't. Meet my eyes, just took a swig of his beer and mumbled, "It's probably for the best." "Wow," I said, easing my chair back deliberately. "You all planned this little performance?" Natalie's smile widened. "You've been a problem for years. We're done pretending." "You're not family," my mother added, grabbing the gravy boat as if we were chatting about the forecast. "It's unanimous." I scanned the table. Not a single person spoke up for me. Not one. "Fine," I said softly. "Then I guess you won't mind this." I reached into my bag, pulled out a hefty folder, and placed it carefully in the center of the table. The thud it made silenced the room's laughter. Natalie frowned. "What's that?" I leaned back, crossed my arms, and gave a small smile. "Why don't you take a look?" She grabbed it, her lips curled in that smug smirk she always had when she thought she'd won. Then she turned the first page. Her face drained of color. She flipped to the next page, then the next. Her smirk vanished. Then she screamed, a raw, bone-chilling scream like something out of a horror film. Her chair toppled as she shot to her feet, slamming the folder shut as if it had scalded her. "You're vile," she shrieked. "You sick, twisted freak!" Gasps rippled across the table. Her husband, Greg, snatched the folder and opened it. His jaw dropped. "Is this—" he started. I nodded once. "It's all true," I said. "Every detail, every document, every screenshot." The room went deathly quiet. You could hear a spoon clatter in the kitchen. My mother's mouth opened, then snapped shut, like a fish out of water. "You were so certain I'd just take it," I said, standing slowly. "So sure I'd stay quiet, the pushover, the bankroll, but guess what?" I locked eyes with Natalie. "Your little act? It's finished. You want to know what was in that folder? I'll get to that. But first, let me explain how we ended up here. Because Natalie didn't just wake up one morning and decide I wasn't family. That choice was built over years, layer by layer, slight by slight, betrayal by betrayal. I was never their favorite. Far from it. Natalie was the golden child, the star of the show. Perfect grades, dazzling smile, a natural at charming anyone. She could lie to your face and make you feel grateful for it. Me? I was the quiet one. Reserved. I didn't crave the spotlight. And they despised that. They saw my silence as a flaw. I left home at 19, paid for my own college, worked 2 jobs, never asked for a dime. Meanwhile, Natalie flunked out of 2 programs, took a soul-searching trip to Paris, then came back and married Greg, a walking resume in a suit jacket. Their wedding? I covered half the cost. My parents couldn't afford it, but somehow they managed a 3-week Caribbean cruise right after. I never complained. Not once. Even when they called me the family ATM, I kept helping, paying for Dad's knee surgery, wiring money when Mom said the electric bill was late, even footing part of Lisa's tuition when her scholarship fell through. They'd say, "Thanks," but always with that tone, the one that implied, "Well, obviously you'd help. You don't have a family of your own." Maybe that's what broke me. I'm single, no kids, no partner, no chaos. Just me, my job, and my cat. To them, that meant I had nothing better to do than clean up their messes. Natalie especially treated me like her personal safety net. When Greg got laid off, she called me first. Just a quick loan. When her car died, you're loaded. What's $3 grand? When her son needed therapy and insurance wouldn't cover it. Guess who got the call? I always helped. Always. Because I told myself that's what family does. But helping became obligation, then expectation, then demand. It started small. Snide comments at dinners. Oh, you brought dessert? Must be nice to afford fancy stuff. Of course you're here early. You've got no kids to deal with. I wish I could stay late at work and dodge my spouse too. Then it got nastier. You're so distant. No wonder you're alone. You don't get real stress. You don't have a real life. You're just jealous because no one relies on you. Except they did rely on me, constantly, financially, quietly, behind the scenes. Then came the text. From Natalie. Hey, can you co-sign a loan for our new yoga studio? Me, no. Natalie, seriously? Then radio silence. That was 4 months ago. After that, I got the cold shoulder. Mom stopped texting. Dad sent one-word responses. No one invited me to the last family barbecue. Natalie blocked me online after posting about cutting out toxic people. But I didn't wallow. Instead, I started gathering evidence. Actual evidence. I'm meticulous. I keep records, bank statements, emails, screenshots, dates. Over the past 6 years, I'd sent over $85,000 to various family members. $85,000. $9,000 for Greg's therapy program. Twas only $800 for Natalie's emergency dental work, which was actually cosmetic implants. $1,700 for Dad's hip surgery. $14,000 for Mom's car loan. $7,000 for Lisa's apartment deposit. $5,200 for a family crisis that was really a Vegas getaway. And not once did they offer to repay me. They just took. And when I stopped giving, I became the villain. So I compiled the folder. Inside, every transaction record, every email and text begging for cash, screenshots of Natalie calling me controlling. To her friend group, because I refused the loan. A timeline of every major payment I'd made in 6 years. And for good measure, copies of social media posts where they ridiculed me. Natalie calling me a spineless money machine in a private chat she didn't know I could see. That's what she saw when she opened the folder. That's why she screamed. Because Natalie wasn't just caught. She was exposed, piece by piece, fact by fact. And the family saw what they'd done. My mom looked like she might pass out. Greg, staring at a line about $4,800 for Natalie's credit card used at a resort in Malibu with someone named Jessica, muttered, "What's this?" I didn't answer. I didn't need to. For the first time, I wasn't explaining myself. I was showing them the truth. You kept track? My mom stammered, her voice trembling. Of everything? You never paid attention, I replied, calmly. So I had to. Natalie, still standing, her face ashen, clenched her fists. This is an invasion, she spat. You had no right. No right? I said, stepping closer. You just stood there and told everyone I'm not family. You all cheered, and now you're mad I came prepared? Greg flipped another page. What's this about Malibu? He asked, his voice sharp. Natalie's head whipped toward him. Don't start. Who's Jessica? He pressed. Why were you at a resort for 4 nights on my card? Her silence spoke louder than words. Wait, my mom interrupted, raising her hands. Can we all just take a breath and be rational? Sure, I said. Let's be rational. Let's talk about the time you called me selfish while depositing the check I sent you. She flinched. That's not fair. We were struggling. No, I snapped. You were struggling, and I fixed it. Every single time. And the one time I said no, I became the bad guy. My dad, silent until now, finally spoke. You're blowing this out of proportion. I turned to him, my voice low. You watched them do this to me for years. You knew. You heard. You let it happen. Because it was easier than standing up for me. He didn't respond. Natalie slammed her fist on the table. You're just bitter because no one needs you anymore. Wrong, I said icily. I'm not bitter. I'm finished. She laughed, sharp and cruel. You're ridiculous. A folder? Screenshots? You think this makes you the victim? You're just proving you're obsessed. And you're proving, I said, that you only cared about me when I was covering your bills. You don't get to play the saint, she yelled. You chose to help. No one forced you. And yet, I said, stepping closer, you demanded it. Every time. Until it wasn't help anymore, it was my job. And when I stopped, you voted me out. My voice broke, not from sadness, but from fury. You didn't want a brother. You wanted a checkbook with a pulse. Greg stood, clutching the folder. Is this true? He asked Natalie. All of it? Natalie stared at him, speechless. No tears, no excuses, just silence. You lied, he said, about the resort, about the money, about him. You made it sound like he was the problem. I had to, she burst out. He was turning everyone against me. I wasn't, I said. You managed that all on your own. The room fell silent again. My mom leaned forward, her voice softer now. Look, sweetheart, we may have overreacted, but we're still family. Families argue. Let's move past this. I cut her off. You're not listening. I'm not asking for peace. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm telling you I'm done. Natalie scoffed. Oh, please. Like this is your big exit. You've said that before. I looked her in the eyes. Not like this. I reached into my jacket and pulled out another envelope. What now? My dad asked, sounding drained. I tossed it onto the table. Greg caught it before it slid off. He opened it, read the first line, and his eyes widened. What is this? He whispered. I answered for him. Power of attorney for mom? Revoked? Medical proxy? Revoked? Emergency contact? Gone. I've already signed the papers. I'm no longer legally or emotionally tied to any of you. My mother gasped. You're cutting us off completely? Completely, I said. Starting now. You're selfish, she said, tears welling. We messed up, but we're still your family. I turned to her, my voice steady. No, you're not. I grabbed my jacket, gave them one last look, and walked out, leaving them in the middle of Thanksgiving dinner, shocked and silent, surrounded by cold food and harsh realities. I stepped outside and didn't look back. Not because it didn't hurt. It did. But as I left their porch and walked into the chilly night air, something inside me shifted. For the first time in years, I felt free. I didn't head straight home. I stopped by the river where Dad used to take me fishing as a kid. I sat there watching the calm water and felt something new. No weight, no guilt, no one expecting a payout or a favor. Just peace. The next day, silence. The day after, still nothing. But on the third day, the messages began. First, my mom, a missed call, then another, then a voicemail. You really meant it? We were upset, but we're still your family. I didn't respond. Then Natalie texted. You don't realize what you've done. Greg's leaving me. Are you satisfied? There's something wrong with you. Then Dad. You went too far. We all said things we regret. But this was cruel. Your mom's a mess. Fix it. I didn't reply to any of them. And honestly, I thought I'd feel remorse. I thought I'd lie awake, wondering if I'd been too harsh. But instead, I slept better than I had in years. No more analyzing every message. No more bracing for the next crisis. No more late-night payment requests masked as emergencies. For the first time in a decade, I could think clearly. I started waking up early, going for walks, brewing coffee slowly. I made appointments I'd delayed for years, dentist, doctor, even a counselor. Not because I was broken, but because I could finally focus on myself. I updated my emergency contacts, removed my parents, changed my passwords, closed every shared account they could access. I blocked Natalie everywhere. It wasn't about spite, it was about moving on. A week later, I got a text from Lisa, the cousin who cheered when they voted me out. I didn't know you paid for my tuition. I'm sorry. I just went along with everyone. You were always the one who showed up. I didn't reply, but I read it. Twice. Then, unexpectedly, a message from Greg. I filed for divorce. Everything in that folder was true. She cheated, lied, manipulated. Not just you, me too. You did the right thing. I should have left earlier. That hit me. I hadn't expected it. A few days later, I did something I hadn't done in years. I applied for a job in a new city. Not to escape, but because I was finally free. No more, stay close for us. No more, who'll take care of them if you leave. I reconnected with old friends I'd drifted from because I was always too busy with family drama. Some had seen my post online. They reached out saying, "We're proud of you." That took guts. No one asked for money. No one guilted me. Just pure support. Someone asked if I regretted it. I thought for a moment and said, "I only regret waiting so long." I thought that was the end. But with people like them, it's never that simple, especially when they start feeling the fallout of your absence. The weeks after Thanksgiving were quiet, blissfully quiet. No calls, no pressure, just calm. Until Christmas. On December 20th, Mom sent a photo of their living room. Stockings hung, a half-decorated tree, and a glaring empty space where the gifts usually piled up. The caption, "It's not the same without you. Ben keeps asking why Uncle isn't here." I stared at it. No apology, no accountability, just the same old manipulation. "Look what you've caused." I didn't respond. December 21st, Natalie called. I let it go to voicemail, then a text. "I know I screwed up, but don't punish everyone. Come for Ben. He misses you." 2 minutes later. "Also, Mom and Dad are late on their mortgage. I know you don't care, but the bank called. Thought you should know." There it was, the ask, wrapped in guilt, cloaked in softness. I blocked her. December 22nd, Dad texted, "You've made your point, we get it. But this has gone far enough. We need help." That night, I sat by my fireplace with a glass of bourbon, looking around my quiet apartment. No tree, no chaos. Just me and the silence they always said would ruin me. And I was grateful for it. But it didn't stop. In January, a call from an unknown number. I answered out of reflex. "Is this Michael?" a man asked. "Yes. Who's this?" "I'm David, calling for your father. He said you're the executor of the family trust." I froze. "I revoked. That rolled 2 months ago. It's finalized. My name's off everything." A pause. "I see. Your father said he couldn't reach you and asked me to discuss options. They're in a tough spot." Of course they were. Natalie and my parents had run out of lifelines. The bank was closed. The safety net was gone. Now they were getting desperate. Hung up without another word. But the final blow came in February. An envelope arrived, handwritten, no return address. I knew my mother's handwriting. Inside, a 3-page letter. Page 1, regret. "We spoke in anger. You've always been our rock. We didn't realize how much we depended on you." Page 2, guilt. "Your father's health is failing. Natalie's alone now. We're worried about Ben. He's struggling." Page 3, the hook. "We're selling the house, but we're underwater on the loan. We just need a little help to get by. Then we'll never ask again. Please, Michael, do it for your father. For us." I sat with the letter, letting myself feel the weight they wanted me to carry. The pull of duty, the sting of obligation, the urge to fix their mess. Then I folded it, walked to the kitchen, and dropped it in the trash. They weren't asking for help. They were asking for control. Again. They didn't want me back. They wanted the version of me who never said no, the one who paid quietly, sacrificed quietly, suffered quietly. But that version? He's gone. I'm not their punching bag anymore. I'm not their cash machine. I'm not the glue holding their broken lives together. I'm done. And the scariest part for them? I'm thriving without them. I got a new job. Moved to a new city. Bigger apartment. Fresh start. I started volunteering, not because anyone needed me, but because I wanted to. I built a life where no one texts me at midnight to fix their mistakes, where I'm not punished for standing on my own, where kindness isn't a transaction. I don't regret helping them, but I regret how long it took me to stop. You want to know what peace feels like? It's not being surrounded by family. It's being free from people who only call you family when they want something. Update. Months later. I didn't expect this post to get noticed. I just needed to get it out. But I read every comment. The people who said, "You're strong. They don't deserve you. Thank you for sharing." I didn't realize how much I needed that until I heard it. To those who asked, What if they change? I've wondered that too. It's been months. They didn't change. After the folder, the screams, the silence, the letters, I thought someone might reflect, might say, "We're sorry." They didn't. They got quiet. Then they got cunning. Then they got desperate. Then they got cruel again. But me? I got free. I moved to a new place. Got a job that doesn't drain me. Started therapy. Real therapy. Where you learn to care for yourself instead of everyone else. I cook now. I sleep well. I walk outside. I don't jump when my phone pings. And yeah, I think about Ben sometimes. About what he's learning. About what he'll think is normal. But I also know I showed him someone who said, enough. A few days ago, another letter came. From Mom. Handwritten. 3 words. We're still family. No context, no apology, no change. Just the same old bait. And for the first time, I felt nothing. No anger, no pain, just nothing. I tossed it, out and made dinner, so I'm back here, because this place gave me clarity I didn't expect. Strangers saw me better than my own blood ever did. So here's my question. Did I do the right thing? Cutting them off, letting go of the burden, saying no and meaning it. Was I too harsh? Or was I just done being the only one holding it together? Don't know. But I do know this. For the first time, I'm not just surviving. I'm living. Thanks for listening.